when you're in the hurt locker. I've often spoken about the fact that I think fitness, exercise, physically working and pushing yourself is one of those keys to building mental toughness, mental fortitude, discipline, focus, character, grit, whatever you want to call it. I think it is a very crucial part of it. And it is the easiest one that transitions into all those areas. And you can work on things by actively choosing to put yourself into those situations. I get a lot of people and they're like, oh, it's just a fitness program. And I'm like, it's not just a fitness program. It's the things that transitions into. It's the things that it builds to. It's the skills and discipline that you gain from doing these things. That's what this is about. And that's what we are working on with this. And sometimes you're going to be in the hurt locker. And the hurt locker can be physical, it can be emotional, it can be mental, it can be whatever it is. And oftentimes, the men who can handle the most stress and anxiety and stuff are the ones who achieve the most success. There was a great interview with Elon Musk, and he was talking about it, and he was like, to reach these levels, you just have to not only accept, but embrace that you are going to be under immense amount of stress, crippling levels of stress and discomfort. And to reach new levels, you have to just take on more and more and more. And those who succeed are the ones who can withstand it. And I was thinking about the hurt locker today. Because some days, my days just get, they get smooshed together and things don't flow perfectly. That's just life at its finest. And so this morning I finished my back workout. I did back and biceps, and I went straight into my weighted walk. Like, literally finished my last rep, chucked on the weight vest, out the door, because I was on a very tight timeline. I was on this very small window that I had to get all of this done. And if I was going to get it done without having to go out at 11 o'clock at night, this was my moment. And I also knew that I had this window, and then I had to literally go straight back and run some sessions. So not only did I have to nail the window, I then had to go straight into being on my game and running these sessions. So I couldn't let anything interrupt me on this fact. And I couldn't slow down. I couldn't take it easy if I didn't want to. Like, I had to just go. And from like 5 minutes in, my shoulders, my back, my traps, my rhomboids, my erectors, they were letting me know all fucking about what I'd just done. And so straight off the bat, I was in that hurt locker. I was feeling every step, every second I was out there. And one of the things I talk about with this is that we need to do it without the headphones. That we are in the moment, we are present and participating fully in what we're doing. That's what we're focusing on with this. And so it's just me and the thoughts in my head, that chatter that's going on. And normally when I'm out on these walks, I like to do my gratitude. I like to focus on things. I like to solve problems that are going on in my life, that are coming up, that need to be addressed. And today it was just getting through it. As I said, the hurt locker started early, and it builds. When you have that pressure, you have that pain, you have that, it's hurting and it's hard. Like, if you're that early on in the workout and it's hurting, it's going to be a long workout. And it's in these moments, and it's why I say that it transfers so well, but it's in these moments that we discover who we are. We discover where our character is. And these are little micro tests that we can do on a regular basis to find out who we truly are, and when shit hurts, who we're going to show up as. And this was one of those moments. This was one of those moments where I was like, whew, this is going to be it. And I wanted to quit and I wanted to stop. There were many times where I was like, I just want to, at very least, like bend over and take the pressure off my traps and shoulders. And I had to just focus. One more step, one step at a time, one breath at a time, one movement forward, one effort at a time. That's all I can focus on. That's all I can be in control of. And that's what I'm going to work towards. And it was hard. As I said, there were plenty of moments where I was like, you could just stop, you could take it easy, no one will know. And I had to find that level to keep going. It's why I also talk about accountability, because I'm not sure if I would have today. I'm not sure if I wouldn't have rested a little bit if I hadn't had a deadline to get back to. But I hadn't had a moment, like people relying on me. I knew they'd be at my door, ready to go, and I had to crank it. I had to push through. I'd set a good pace down and I had to return that same pace back. So I had to be there on time. I couldn't slack off as the pain locker got worse. The hurt locker got worse. And so I went. And at the end of that feeling, that sense of accomplishment, that sense of bliss and satisfaction was so incredible. I was like, yes. And it fires you up for your day. It gets you going of going, yeah, I overcame that. I could have quit. I could have bowed out. I could have given in to that bitch voice saying, just take it easy. Just dial it back a little bit. And you keep going. And that's when you win. That's when you truly count the blessings. That's when you find out what it's worth to you. And that's what the point of the physical exercise is. It's why we do it. It's why it's built that way. It's why, oddly enough, and people find it weird, that weighted walks is number one. It's why we teach it number one in the membership. And, chasing greatness, this is where we start. We start with weighted walks. Because that's where you're going to get your most bang for your buck. It's where you're going to learn about yourself. It's where you're going to figure out what truly matters for you. It's where you're going to see incredible results. Because weighted walks are, they are cardio and weight training all in one. It's the best of everything. It gets the aerobic capacity going, teaches your body to work as if it's heavier than it is. It raises your metabolic rate. It works on your heart health, but it's also heavy, and so it works on strength, and it works on your conditioning, and it works on your ability to move weight, and especially move weight for long periods of times. It's a really important skill to develop, and it's why it is the number one. And it also requires no skill, no talent, minimal equipment. You can literally get started with basically nothing. Everybody has a backpack, or can buy a backpack for 15, 20 bucks, whatever. Like, it's not expensive. Fill it with books, fill it with bricks, fill it with, jugs of water, whatever. Make it heavy, strap it to your back, and off you go. It doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to get done. And it's why, as I said, it's the starting point. Because anyone can do it. Anyone can set that up at any point and they can do that. The weight training workouts, that requires a bit of understanding, a bit of knowledge. It depends on what equipment and setup you have. The nutrition, relatively easy, but still requires a bit of skill, a bit of knowledge, a bit of understanding. Like all the other things require a little bit first, but your best bang for your buck with zero requirements at the start. That's your weighted walk right there. And as I said, you're going to learn stuff about yourself because you got to get out there. One, it's got to be outside. So you learn how well you're going to tolerate when conditions are bad. When you're out there and you don't fucking want to be. When it's wet, when it's cold, or at the other end of the spectrum, when it's hot as balls and you're out there getting shit done. You learn something about yourself in those moments. And the second, it can be a grind. It can be a grind, and there are going to be days where you're in the hurt locker and you learn how well you handle that stress. You learn how well you're going to deal with that kind of stuff. And that is also within itself a very important lesson. How are you dealing with the stress? How are you dealing with the pain? How are you dealing with the world? And in that micro moment, you learn a lot about how well you're going to handle all those things. And that's part of it. And then lastly, because there is nothing to keep you stimulated, because there is nothing for you to focus on other than putting one foot in front of the other and the weight that is on your shoulders, your mind runs free and you're going to quickly discover all the other things that you know, that you're going to discover all those things that are going on in your head and how much bullshit stories are going on inside you that don't need to be there. It's why part of it is that you do it without any stimulation, because it's fascinating for you to uncover all the things that go on in your head that you don't even think about, that you don't even notice, that are constantly going on inside your brain, the stories that you tell. Because most people these days never spend any time in reflection, in deep contemplation. There's a great book by Cam Newport called Deep Work, and it talks about this, and it talks about the ability to go deep on a subject, to truly think deeply and laterally on it. But because we spend so much of our life in shallow and insignificant and things that don't matter, the ability to go deep on a subject and truly contemplate it and truly think about it is a rare and dying art. And he goes over many ways to work on this deep skill and deep work and to have deep critical thinking. And one of them is, in fact, as described, going for a walk. So starting your walk with a problem or a concept that needs to be solved and just thinking about it for the walk as you get in motion, because getting in motion clears things out. It opens it up and allows you to think better. And so as you're doing this walk, it'll force your mind to create answers and scenarios, and you'll start addressing the problem. Or you can just see what comes up. Oftentimes when you're actually in silence and there's nothing else to stimulate you, you can actually work through what is causing your problems in life, what is giving you stress, what is giving you anxiety, what is causing these problems. And if you actually allow your mind to quiet down with no other input, with nothing else being put into it, you can actually discover what your actual thoughts are. And it's not always nice. It's often uncomfortable. I've had a lot of people tell me, they're like, I couldn't possibly do that. And I'm like, well, what is so scary in your conscious or subconscious mind that you can't be alone with your thoughts? Are we so overstimulated these days that the idea of just being alone with your thoughts for 45 minutes freaks you the fuck out? And if it does, then you need this more than anyone. You are going to get more bang for your buck than anyone else from this, because this will open up your eyes to what's actually going on in your head and what you need to work through, what you need to think about. And I think that's a great skill, and it's something that we all can aspire to and should work on. So there you go. That's my rant about the hurt locker today. And I hope that helped. I hope that spoke to you. I hope that gave you pause to think about how you handle stress, how you handle the load, how you show up in those moments, and how you can be a better version of yourself with that. And then on top of that, are you actually alone with your thoughts? Are you actually aware of what's going on inside your head? Because these are fundamental skills that will bring you great benefit if you can work through them, if you can figure out how to become this best version of yourself. So that's all I have for you. Now, standard platitudes. If you found value from this, if you took something from it, if something blew your mind, if you took a nugget of wisdom from it, whatever it may be, please like, comment, subscribe. If there was something of value that you think someone else could benefit from, please send it to them. I'm trying to start the greatness movement, and I'm trying to help as many men as humanly possible. So please help me spread the word. And, if you're ready to take the next step and join the Daily Greatness Mail and grab the 10 tools to mental toughness to transform your life and physical body, please click the link in my bio and grab those. Lastly, if you're ready to burn the motherfucking boats, to go all in, to see who you truly can become when you remove the unimportant and focus on the important, then send me a message directly and let's see what we can do together. Until then.